Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome this morning.
Hare Krishna.
Waitangi Day. Holiday today. Especially those who come from a long way away, some of those who've just arrived this morning from Auckland. Is that correct? And from the doors from the Mantra Lounge. Is that correct? Bhakti Lounge. I get confused. The name has changed a few times according to time and circumstance. So Bhakti Lounge. How many of you are from Bhakti Lounge? Quite a large contingency. Thank you for coming. Krishna. Pleasure and Isaac Moore just coming also. So I believe this morning we're going to try to associate with Rupa Goswami in the form of his instructions on the nectar of devotion. This is primarily how we associate with the pure devotees of the Lord. We understand that there's the Vapu, which is the personal, physical association. To actually enter into the Vapu of the pure devotees of the Lord, the entry, the methodology is the Vani. We worship the Vani. This is probably the primary initiative of Srila Prabhupada's coming and this movement existing really is based upon the Vani of his Guru Maharaj and the previous acharyas who clearly made it very clear that the Vani of the spiritual master is the living force.
I'm happy if you're happy.
Are you happy? He asked a question. I don't know if you're happy or not. I'm never happy. So, yes, it's the life and soul of the pure devotee. Prabhupada said the instruction of the spiritual master was his life and soul. And that was what gave him. Maybe, Sunday was cottoned on. It's probably a good idea. I don't know what the future will be, but there may be a need to move forward with it. Well, they're sitting in the doorway at the moment. I'm not sure if he's the doorkeeper or gatekeeper. Nobody leaves. Depends where you want to sit. Parama, you need a chair.
Thank you.
Maybe you need a chair.
There is one chair there.
Just squeeze in and provoke him.
Hare Krishna.
So, our section of the instructions, the Vani, Lord Vani, the British Prabhupada, taking shelter of the Vani of Lord Chaitanya and the spiritual master. We also want to. So amongst our 6 gurus, Srila Prabhupada has said clearly that the 6 Goswamis are our 6 gurus and prominent, more prominent, but in terms of our own lives, our own practices, this stage particularly, the instructions of Rupa Goswami are the most profound. Jiva Goswami is further expanded, but at least we have to imbibe the teachings of Rupa Goswami in our daily practice if we want to advance in Krishna consciousness. We're known as Rupanugas. Rupanuga, as you know, means follower of Rupa Goswami. And every devotee, we can read this in the beginning of Nectar of Devotion. I assume that all of you are familiar with this book. Nectar, you may not have read it, but is everybody familiar with it? You've seen it before. This is one version. There are many versions. Some of you have read part of it. Some of you have read all of it, and some of you kind of read it but not really digested it. And some of you have digested some of it, not all of it. Maybe some of you have digested all of it. Actually, if you digest the entire Nectar of Devotion, it's on the platform of pure devotional service. At least we can understand or hear the subject matter. We'll have a little kirtan in a minute, but just first we'll just read a little bit.
Last one.
This might take a time so we get
Last one. Next one.
So this very famous song compiled by Srinivasa Acharya, which is Sat Goswami Astika. And in this song we often sing the second verse actually of this song. I don't know if things are going to go onto that screen over there, perhaps they are. Is that what happens? No, it doesn't.
If it is pre-planned, we can do that.
If it is pre-planned, it can be done, but not on the spot. We will sing, we won't sing the whole song because it's quite long, but we will sing a couple of verses. This is compiled by Srinivasa Acharya. Srinivasa Acharya was in the next line after the six Goswamis, more or less, and follower of Jiva Goswami and so on. And Gopal Goswami. And he wrote this song in say glorification of, as well as recognition of and describing the glories of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, who are the six gurus of this. Today is Madhavacharya today? Madhavacharya or not?
Tomorrow.
What is it today then? I get confused. My calendar, I don't have a calendar for this part of the world. My calendar is, everything is one day in advance here. In France, it was yesterday. Everything's one day different, you see. So today is Vishamashtami, also, of course, in many ways, is one of our six gurus, teaching us pure devotional service. Living examples. We can also learn from him Varnashram principles and so on, but especially his example of pure devotion. But Rupa Goswami has compiled many literatures for our guidance. Srinivasacharya talks about this and sings about this and sings about their devotional practices and so on for our benefit and for our purification as well as our revelation. So he's known generally as Abhideya Acharya, one who's focusing primarily on the process, the transformative process from being a neophyte, in whatever form it may be, from basic affinity to some kind of religious practice of some kind, up to a practicing devotee, materialistic Prakita Bhakta, through the stages of devotional service to the stage of pure unalloyed devotional service in its various forms, which is described in the Nectar of Devotion. So he's describing that, and Prabhupada says here that that means the six Goswamis, very scrutinizing studied all the Vedic authorized principles. I missed the line there. All the Vedic scriptures in order to establish the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the authorized principles of Vedic knowledge. It's not just their own revelation, their own pure realizations, or their own intellectual conclusions. They base it on the Vedic standard. It's always measured against the Vedic literatures and so on. They're not concocting, speculating in any way. Prabhupada says the present Krishna consciousness movement, these are the words of Prabhupada, the preface of the Nectar Devotion. And he says here, the present Krishna conscious movement is also based on the authority of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. We are therefore generally known as Rupa Nugas, or followers in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. It is only for our guidance that Srila Rupa Goswami prepared his book, which is this book, Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. And some of you, I believe, are studying this book at the moment as part of your Bhakti Shastri, is that correct? Who is studying this? You're part of the ongoing course. So some of you graduated beyond that. Are any of you studying Bhakti Vaibhav or Bhakti Vedanta? You're doing Bhakti Vedanta or Bhakti Vaibhav?
Vedanta.
Vedanta. So Prabhupada writes in the early days of ISKCON, I don't know, 1970 or something, that one who has actually passed the Bhakti Vedanta can begin to initiate disciples. So we know the motive over here. Be careful.
I just unenrolled.
He's just unenrolled. Prabhupada put that even way before all this. Whatever, nobody knew anything practically, or very little. I see question marks in the book and different things underlined here. I think we briefly spoken on why we're called Rupa Nugas. I mean, what does Rupa Anuga mean? What does Rupa mean? I mean, it's simple. Form. Yes. But what's Anuga? Followers. We're followers of Rupa Goswami. That's our line. And here Prabhupada says he's particularly prepared this book. I don't know if you do go beyond, but on Bhakti Vedanta you go beyond the first 19 chapters or not? When do you study the rest of it? Back to Sarvabhauma or what?
I don't think that they have studied.
They're not studying it, huh? I'm surprised. Yeah. And we used to read this when I joined the movement when I first came in 1971. We were reading, I think it was like chapter 58 of the Nectar of Devotion, something like that. How many chapters? I can't remember. What is this? No, not 58. Maybe something like 39. Something around that. That's what we were reading every day in the class. And almost everybody had been in the movement at least 3 days. And we're reading. And nowadays, chapter 19, okay, that's it. Finished. Interesting. Because then we had 5 or 6 classes every day in the temple. Every day. As well as 7 hours Harinam Sankirtan on the street. That's what the temple was. We had Nectar Devotion class, Ishopanishad class, Bhagavad Gita class, Srimad Bhagavatam class, and song class. We want to call that 30-minute songs every day. Learning songs. Every day. We had no Guru Puja, we had no Tulsi Puja, they didn't exist. Didn't form, arti. Lots of reading and chanting, there was no time for extra reading. He probably said 2 hours is enough a day. If you sit in classes 5 times a day, which everybody did, you pretty much, and nobody had a book of their own, nobody. Computers, mobiles, Kindles didn't exist. If you didn't sit there, you didn't hear the book. And after, if you were a slow learner, after 2 or 3 months, if you were slow, it took 2 or 3 months before you were giving class. If you were slow. Sometimes after 1 month.
Some ginger tea.
Okay?
Some ginger tea. Honey ginger.
Ginger tea, is it? Okay, great. For everybody?
After
Breakfast. With the biscuits. From England, how can you have a cup of tea? Anybody else from England? Yeah, who's that? I can see a hand, but I can't see a Rupa. Where is she? There's the phone. You're from England. So how can you give someone a cup of tea without a biscuit? Goodness me. You dunk it in the tea. I'll save this. Yeah, and this, in the first 19 chapters, the Eastern division of the nectar of devotion, divided into 4 divisions: East, West, North, South. And the Eastern division is basically the practice of sadhana bhakti. But it's meant to lead us to, let's say, the stages of bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. But maybe that will come later. Let's see. So, rather than just to finish this little reading of the preface or preface, whatever you call it. Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. So what is Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu? Prabhupada summarized it as that nectar of devotion, isn't it? Literally speaking, it could be clearly said that's what it means. Bhakti, of course, means, everyone knows what Bhakti means, don't they? At least theoretically. What does it mean? Bhakti. Maybe she's a little young yet to catch that one. I don't see so many young-bodied devotees here today as usual. Perhaps they're still sleeping. Where are the tent men? Where are they? They're staying in a tent somewhere.
They just coming.
Just as I mentioned his name, he arrives. He's very quick at responding. They all flew out of the tent. I hope they weren't frozen to death last night. I found it quite chilly last night. They're staying in tents even when they're 2 children. It's a good example. Save money, I guess. So what does bhakti mean? Everybody must know. Come on. There's some scholars here who've studied maybe the first few chapters of these. How about chapter you on?
Third chapter. Unlimited
We are on 3rd chapter.
Oh, your very beginning stages. I actually used to teach the Bhakti Shastra in the early days of the IHE. And nectar devotion was the main subject I was. So it's like that. That's going back to 27 years ago or something. And a long time I haven't really delved in that. The chapter 3 of the nectar of devotion. Okay, so you must have heard what bhakti means by now. Hare Krishna, welcome. Did you take your bath in the ocean or in the mountain stream? I hope you brought your roots and fruits for breakfast. What is bhakti? Oh, that's a very difficult question. Special reward for anyone who can answer this. Does anyone know? I mean, anyone has heard this word bhakti? What does it mean? Is it a trick question? Is it a simple question?
Devotion service.
Okay, that's a simple answer, isn't it? devotional service. Prabhupada reduces the term devotional service to be specifically directed to Krishna, doesn't he? Because people can use the word devotional service in so many. We were bhaktis in many languages of the world, and it does have a relationship in most cases to service, in most cases, but it doesn't mean devotional service. And they may say, Durga Bhakti, Durga Bhakti, Shiva Bhakti. We understand what they mean. But in Rupa Goswami's terminology of definition, we find in the next introduction, in the introduction to this book, next chapter, it's actually the first chapter. The Prabhupada calls introduction, but it's actually chapter 1, or first wave, or whatever you call it, of the Nectar of Devotion is the introduction. Originally in Sanskrit, compiled by Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada's preface has taken those verses and put them into English, of course, with a contextual commentary so that we can relate it to our present situation somewhat. So bhakti is, you could say, simply devotional service, but to explain it in the light of Vaishnavism, this has to be expanded. So, to a large extent, the introduction is actually a definition of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, preface also. So what is Bhakti if you give a longer definition of the term? In terms of the writings of Rupa Goswami. See, those living in tents can understand this. Say clearly, Bhakti, what does it mean? Wow. Don't know how you memorize these verses. Yeah, there's a series of verses which every student of the Bhakti Shastri at least had to memorize. With about 8 verses, and this is the first one, isn't it? What does it say? Bhakti, how's it go? Anya Bilasita Shunyam Jnana Kamajana Vittam. This is topmost devotion, isn't it? It can be applied, this principle can be applied, even though we're not on that stage, you could say, of complete pure devotion. But the principle is applied at all stages, isn't it? It's the foundation, it's not the Paribhasha Sutra of the Nectar of Devotion. That means the essential verse which captures the overall meaning and purpose of the text. So, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhakti Devotion, okay. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we're now getting a definition of what that is, as far as our intention. It's not just a loose term. Everyone says, yes, I'm doing bhakti, I go to the temple once a week, and I take prasadam. That's my bhakti. Well, it is, but it's not. It may not be quite what's referred to here, at least not the objective of what's referred to. Anyabilasita shunyam jnana kamadinamritam. What does that mean, in English at least? More or less, what does it mean? Anya abhilasita shunyam. Without any other desire for anything, in terms of this line, meaning jnana, aspiration. Ultimately that means an aspiration. The goal of jnana is generally impersonal liberation, or at most aimed at reverential devotion to Lord Narayan or something at a more higher level. But generally liberation, and of course that's the goal. It's not so much the practice, but the goal which is inferred here. Devotional service is not intended to achieve the goal of liberation. You can read, perhaps in chapter 5, to how devotional service surpasses liberation. The whole chapter is dedicated to that point. Many people consider liberation the ultimate objective of spirituality, and perhaps some devotees claim to be devotees, practicing bhakti, have that as their goal also. Some, even lower than that in one sense, have the goal of karma. Karma, obviously, everyone knows the word karma. What does karma mean? Pardon?
Fruitive activity.
Fruitive activity. Actually, there are quite a few different definitions. They're all valid. They're all correct in their own rights, but they describe it from different angles, at different stages, to different people, in different contexts, because the word karma is quite a broad topic, to say the least. I like the definition Prabhupada gives. I think it's in the Bhagavad Gita somewhere. Activity which leads to the development of future material bodies. Is quite descriptive of its nature and its result, isn't it? Fruitive. If you say that to a person on the street, what does karma mean? And you say it means fruitive activity. What will they think? They won't understand a word. They don't understand at all what you're telling them. Not at all. It means nothing to an ordinary person. Fruitive activity. What do you mean? Apples, bananas. what an activity that leads to getting apples? Or you guys are fruitarians or what? Many of our terms are not used in general society. I think they can understand that because they may not believe in anything. There's no point telling them anything practically. But if there's some genuine interest, then definition like that, activity which leads to receiving a future material body, is a fairly reasonable definition. I think it's a perfect definition, but at least for an ordinary person it may be quite reasonable also. If they don't believe that, then that means they don't believe in the soul, they don't believe in reincarnation, they don't believe in karma, so what can you do? And they just believe in themselves. So yes, without karma, without activism, lead to a future material body. Or anything else come to that. Maybe people want to go to the heavens. Maybe they want to become freed of bad reactions. I don't meet many people who want to be freed of good reactions. Do you meet many people like that? Please save me from my sinful reactions. Forgive me for my sins. But most people don't know what a sin is. They define it according to mundane morality, basically. What is the real definition of sin? Anyone know? I mean, real definition from the Vaishnava point of view. It's not defined by... Because you see, every country in the world has a different definition, don't they? You go to one country, it's a sin. In another country, it's not a sin. In fact, it's quite the opposite in some countries. It's a sin to accept it as a sin. You get punished if you accept it as a sin. In other countries, it is the opposite. So it's not a very absolute definition which we have in this world of sin. There are different moral implementations or whatever in different cultures according to various reasons. But they're not really an absolute. What's an absolute definition of a sin? Which obviously, if we're looking towards the absolute, if we're trying to reach the ultimate goal, then we should know what the rules are in reaching that absolute goal. So what is an absolute sin?
Alright, is it, so as you mentioned in Vaishnava terms, would it be anything that is against the will of Krishna?
You could define it like that, couldn't you? Any activity undergone with an intention separate from pleasing Krishna. You could define it like that. Perhaps, I don't know if you think, but that sounds a pretty descriptive way of understanding sin from a different perspective. It's a perspective not based just upon relativity. It includes relativity, but it's not based on it. Because it basically means every single thing we do, even if we're feeding poverty-stricken people, opening schools and colleges, if it's not done solely in light, in the light of the next section, Anukulyena, favourable to Krishna, pleasing to Krishna. Now you can argue those points, and that's all right, you can do that if you want, we're not going to go there. But in principle, anything which is undertaken independent, and we can get closer to the mark there, independent can be brought in. Independent means you may have a nice sentiment to serve Krishna, but it's independent. That's getting quite far down the line, you could say. It is. It's still tinged with this tendency to do it my way. It was a famous song, some of you who are over 80 years old will remember it. I did it my way. I can't remember, was it some famous, in the 50s, some famous musician? Huh? May have been Frank Sinatra, see, he's maybe in the previous life. One of those famous American singers. I did it my way. The whole world is based on it, isn't it? Even more to goodness, I did it my way. We did it our way. You did it your way. We don't like your way. If you don't get out of the way. And everyone has a different definition of what doing good is as well. I mean, to protect a dog is good, but to eat a cow is good. Isn't it? For some people. Different understanding. To uphold various activities which previously were considered to be unfavorable, nowadays is considered very good. Actually, if you try to be conservative about it, then you're considered to be very bad. Everything's changing. These are all relative ideas. Relative. And you can go on and on with that. But real piety is, in this world, real piety means to perform your duty according to authority, according to the authority of God, not just man-made authority. That's still within the realm of separatism. So we don't want to be separatists. Even in the name of bhakti, sometimes we want to impose our own idea what it means, or our own practices. A simple example would be, now you're, let's say, dressing the deity. Now, I like jeans. I don't know if you like jeans. I think if I like jeans, Krishna should be in jeans too. So we can dress him in jeans and t-shirt. Now, I've never seen anyone dress Krishna in jeans and t-shirt, but I have seen some people dress some of the devas in jeans and t-shirts. Sort of Malaysia with a guitar. The Saraswati was there, and she looked very modern with her guitar and her t-shirt and everything else. Quite amazing, huh? We try to impose our ignorance upon Krishna. If I think it's good, it must be good, and therefore it's good for Krishna too. God is made in the image of me. I don't think that's what it says, does it? No, it says, I'm made in the image of God. Oh, okay, not much different. Same words. And we don't impose, we try to find out what is pleasing to Krishna, don't we? Is it pleasing to Krishna to, let's say, offend devotees? It must be, yeah? Must be good, I know. I like doing it, it must be good. Criticizing devotees must be really good. That's a good occupation, isn't it? It must be, they deserve it. I'm doing it for their purification. So that favourable aspect, so there's it's called Tatastha Lakshana, the secondary characteristics of pure devotion. Because when we talk of devotion, or when Rupa Goswami talks of devotion, he does include these stages of, let's say, mixed devotional service. You don't start pure, you start with mixed. And that's also included in the greater picture, but in the real sense of the term, bhakti means absolutely pure, unalloyed, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. And of course, that's when it really begins, that stage. Pure devotion begins at that stage. So it's devoid of these other things. That's the mixed stage. When you have a desire for any of these other things, to do it my way, or to get free of karma, to feel good, to be accepted in the society as something or another, to expect something in return, to whatever, or even worse, I want liberation. I want to become God. The demigods.
Recording in progress.
Pardon? Somebody, they moved from there to there. that was paramount. I know he was sitting there. That's the end. Control your senses. Rupa Goswami said, Vacho Vega, Manasakroga Vega, Jiva Vega, Murudra Pasta Vega. You have to read the Nectar of Instruction, okay? Which is a condensed version in many ways of Nectar of Devotion. Yes, so all these other things, you could make a long list if you want, but we're not going to go down the list of various other mixtures which we have in our devotion, our duplicity, which is a very nasty one, we try to put on the good air, and inside we're very motivated by our own agenda, our own interpretation of things. Bhakti, pure. So what is the Swarup? Swarup means constitutional, the real, the primary characteristic of pure devotional service. What is in its absolute sense? There's no question in the absolute sense of thinking, I've got to avoid karma, I've got to avoid jnana, or trying to go that. It doesn't exist. In the primary stage of pure devotional service, what is that characteristic? Second part of the verse of Swami's Paribhashya Sutta. What is the second part? Anukulina, which we touched just now. There's pratikula and anukula. What is pratikula? Unfavorable. Unfavorable. It's not difficult to understand. There's things which are unfavorable to you and things which are favorable. It's not difficult. Krishna's a person. He's not an object. Not a combination or a form of our mixed desires or something. He is the Supreme Person. He has his own personality. So devotional service means to find out. To actually find out what he wants and to execute it. To practically apply it. If you want to love somebody, devotional service, sometimes people say love. It means love. Bhakti means love. It's true in another way, but we have to understand deeper what that means. And Prabhupada describes that in the preface. This rasa, this loving relationship with Krishna, Bhakti rasa. It means loving devotional service, not just activity, but in the mood of love. And we have to understand what love means. It's not just a sensual interaction. Or if it satisfies my senses, we call love that love. I love you because you satisfy me. Something like that. That's not what it means, but that you have to read in the preface. So, bhakti, so, yes, this mood of finding out, this practice of finding out what Krishna wants and trying to mold ourselves. We're not, the Krishnas, many people have a preliminary, neophyte stage of thinking God is basically my servant. He's meant to provide for me. I'm a child, he's the father. It's definitely connected, but it's a very preliminary understanding of God's relationship, or our relationship with God. That he is the provider, which he surely is. But, you hope your child will go a little bit beyond that, don't you? When your child, say you're 90 years old and your 70-year-old child's still coming to you every day and asking you, can you feed me, can you give me some money, I want to go to, I don't know what you want to do. Go get a toffee or get a lollipop or a biscuit or something. You know, you don't expect that from your 70-year-old son or daughter. You expect them to grow up a little bit. But they're still expecting you to take them to the toilet by like 22 years old. Feed them with a spoon. Of course, Indian mothers, they often do this. They do feed their 70-year-old son with a spoon. Isn't it, sometimes? They want to sit him down, and he's like the CEO of Microsoft or something, and they want to sit him down and feed him. You know? Isn't that some Indian family? Mothers are mothers, but in principle you expect them to grow up. So we expect you to grow up in devotional service. We shouldn't be in our napkins for the rest of our lives saying that, no, I started with napkins, everyone should stay in napkins, because we were all in napkins in 1967 in the good old days, so everyone should stay in napkins now. And Prabhupada wanted us to advance in Krishna consciousness beyond that stage, neophyte stage. And you've heard this many times, but the word neophyte is a very nice word, isn't it? You can say it, if you say it in a different way, neophyte. Always near a fight, always ready for an argument, always ready to defend yourself, always ready to put others down. I'm right, you're wrong, don't you understand? Don't you understand? You're wrong, I'm right. No, you're not, I'm right. You think you're right? Oh, might is right, I'll teach you a lesson. I've got the support. Look, I can quote this verse in Bhagavatam. I read it in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yare de Katari Kara Krishna Pradesh. One who doesn't listen to me is bound for hell. Don't you know that verse? You might hopefully a little bit more shastric than in defending yourself. It won't go down very well. You won't win the argument, but anyway. Whatever it is, I have the position, listen to me. Bow down, mister. Bow down. Or else you'll get it. Hopefully we're not like that. And sometimes we get carried away with it. This is not very favourable. We're here to become servants. And find out what Krishna wants. And the whole topic of nectar devotion is based on that principle. Anukulena, favourable, that which pleases Krishna. This whole book is based upon that. It's not just a matter of getting your Bhakti Shastri. No, Prabhu, I am a Bhakti Shastri. Listen to me. I have studied the Bhakti Shastri. Who's the teacher here? Who's the teacher? Where's the teacher? I studied under Ambarish Maharaj. I am superior to you. She's superior to you. Nanga, superior. When I was teaching Bhakti Shastri, it's changed now, but frankly speaking, at least 75% of the students in the courses in 1988, 1990, maybe, I don't know, it was on and off here and there, were on their last legs. They were sent to the VIG as a last hope that they would survive in Krishna consciousness. And many of them were like that. And they had some who were like intellectual whiz kids, and others, you know, when's Prasada? It wasn't very well selected in those days. Anyone you could get, you know, it's like that. Now it's hopefully a little bit different, a little bit more serious about, you know, the level they're on, and studying at that level and moving on. Another angle of Bhakti. or appropriate to your ability or your level of adhikar. So, yeah. Back to your rasa. Rasa we've already touched upon. Rasa means a little bit more, doesn't it? What does it mean? Go further. Go back to his anukulyena in this swarup form. It's favorable to Krishna. And not only that, you could say, oh no, we don't have to say. Rupa Goswami says, he defines that still further, doesn't he? What that means to be favorable to Krishna. What does he say? He gives the example of Kamsa. You remember that? What does he say? Maybe a few other examples too, mixed or opposing. Kamsa, will you call him a pure devotee? He was always thinking of Krishna, wasn't he? Practically more than the practicing devotees. The modern day Kamsa is this Richard Dawkins. Have you heard of Richard Dawkins? Anyone heard of him? Have I got it right? Richard Dawkins?
Yes.
What's he most famous for?
He's a leading atheist.
He's a leading atheist, but he's written a few books, hasn't he? What is the book called? Most famous one.
The God Delusion.
The God Delusion. He can't get God out of his head, you know. This is the funny thing about many of the atheists. They talk a lot about God. Heck of a lot. At least the big ones. Because they're just like the demons. They know about it, but they hate him. They want to kill him. But they can't. Damn it, we've got to get him out. But they can't get him out of the picture. The book is full of God consciousness in one sense, but it's not favourable, is that? You can do that. I remember Prabhupada in 1975, when 74 maybe, when the German government tried to, destroy the Hare Krishna movement. It was totally in that country. And there was no end of propaganda from top to bottom against the Hare Krishna movement. All the newspapers were full of aggressive articles. The television, Hare Krishna this, Hare Krishna that. All horrible things were said to devotees, of course. Very difficult situation. But nonetheless, when Prabhupada received some of these German articles, they were all in German. He didn't understand German. All he could see every other line was Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He said, this is a very, very good article. In about 1 hour, the German authorities informed every single citizen in Germany about Krishna. In the previous 7 years, maybe 1% had gone wrong. And in about 1 hour, that everyone in Germany was talking about Hare Krishna. It's unfavorable, but still, ultimately we see Kamsa's devotional service, Putana's devotional service. Was it favorable? She came as a mother, in disguise as a mother, but she came to kill. Kamsa was thinking of Krishna with the intention of killing. There's a kind of Krishna consciousness, isn't it? And they do get the fruit of that, in the positive fruit, as well as the other side. Krishna kills them, but he at the same time, he liberates, he delivers them. And Krishna, in one sense, is part of his pastimes. He enjoys it. Krishna likes a fight. Do you know that? He's not a neophyte either, so be careful. Try to fight with Krishna, who really, he doesn't even waste his time with little things like us. But you can't defeat Krishna. He likes a fight. So in one sense, it's pleasing to him. Nrsimhadev really enjoyed his fight with Hiranyakashipu. He may like it in one sense. In one sense, you could say there's other aspects to that. Even if he does like it, their mood is not favorable, so it's not categorized within this bracket of anukulyena, even if Krishna is pleased with it, because we're not doing it in a favorable mood. And how that can be, that mood, anukulyena, it's not just because I think it's favorable. We do anukulyena Krishna, okay, favorable to Krishna. And anu, Krishna anu. What does anu refer to? Anu? Follow. Following and permanently following, not just following 1 hour a week. And I'm a vegetarian. 99% of the day. I only eat meat for 30 minutes a day, so I guess I'm 99% vegetarian. Right? I'm almost there. I only eat meat for 30 minutes a day. Because that's not 99%, but it's a fairly high percentage of being a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian when I sleep also. On the way. It's only 20 minutes a day, what's the problem, you know? Why you don't look at the other, 23 hours and 40 minutes? I'm a teetotaler, you know. You can, this also means not just, part-time, full-time. Full-time. Isn't it? So, and following. Following means what? Following what? Following what? Following Acharyas, following Rupa Goswami's instructions in Nectar Devotion. They're meant to be applied. They're particularly instructions for the members of this Krishna consciousness movement, neophytes or whatever we are, at every stage. At every stage. The first division is for the neophytes. Basically, it does introduce us to Rupa Raganuga Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, but only briefly. So we know that it's there. And once actually on that level, then the next sections, of course, take one through the stages. So, following the acharyas, following the spiritual masters, the Parampara, the disciples of succession, this is the mood, and that leads ultimately up to, of course, the stage of advancing in Krishna consciousness, which is described here in Nectar Devotion. The various stages. And the various effects, the various characteristics are described in the second chapter of Nectar Devotion, the characteristics of pure devotional service. You should know what the characteristics are. If somebody asks you, what is a pure devotee, you should know what the characteristics are. Well, what is devotion, what is pure devotion? We should know what they are. If someone says, I'm a policeman, you should know what are the characteristics of a policeman. Or what are the characteristics of the law of the land? What are they? So they're described there in summaries for our benefit, so we have some idea what it is. Idea what it's not, and idea what it is. So the idea is what it is that which is favorable to Krishna, not just favorable to me, but favorable to Krishna in a positive way, in a way which is with the right mood. Which means our mood is favorable. It's not that we're just... Krishna may like it. You may like an argument with someone, but that doesn't mean the person's argument with you is favorable to you. People like that. So it should be both. And we imbibe that by the following of the pure devotees, those who are in that mood. Shilam. What is Shilam? Shila, maybe my pronunciation is not understood. What does it mean?
Cultivation.
Pardon?
Cultivation.
Cultivation, good response. You cultivate this. Just like you cultivate a plant, there's a process, isn't it? You have to know the process and apply it. You have to have the right seed. You get the seed from the pure devotees. They give you the seed. Otherwise, and they also teach you where to plant it. How to plant it. It'll be different in different climates and so on. Whereas a plant, if you're here to try to plant a mango seed, will probably not be very effective. I don't think you can grow mangoes in Wellington, can you? Can you grow mangoes in your garden? You might be able to grow them in a big greenhouse or something. Some kind of hot house or something, I don't know. It's a process, and there's also the association. In other words, Nectar Devotion also is very, gives clarification on how to associate and to associate with and so on and so forth. So it's also important. Shilanam, cultivating this process. Cultivating this process of Anukulina Krishna. And topmost, this is the definition. topmost devotional service. And that definition can be applied in every situation, maybe to different degrees, but in every situation. And that's the introduction of the nectar of instruction, the nectar of devotion, rather. That's the most important verse in many ways of the nectar of devotion is based upon that principle. So Prabhupada said the nectar of devotion. So Bhakti Rasa Amrita. Bhakti Rasa, devotion, loving devotion. What's Amrita? Nectar. We're all after the nectar, isn't it? I like that word, nectar. It can also refer to eternity, eternal. We did a program the other day in Christchurch, the first evening. I can't remember whose house it was in now. Pardon? Oh, it's in Love's house. His house. Yeah, so there you go. Half of the, practically speaking, nectar of devotion, because his name is Love, so that's Rasa. And his street was called Amrita. Amrita Lane. Lane means, the path, so you can say cultivating. So, and there was Bhakti there, so that was the personification of the program of Bhakti Rasa Amrita. So you just go there in Christchurch and you fulfill the intention of the whole nectar of devotion. Stay in love. Huh? Am I right? I'm right. And his wife is Priyanka? Priya. Very dear to the Lord. So, amazing. The name in Christchurch, there's a village, a town now, Ralston, outside of Christchurch. The road was called Amrita Lane. A-M-R-I-T-A. Amrita Lane. Nectar. We had a bit of nectar there. It was nice, I guess it was a nice program. We seemed to enjoy it. So, Bhakti Rasa Amrita, this nectar. Of course, everyone's after bliss in this world, isn't it? Love and bliss. I really love you. And a week later, I really hate you. And it's bliss. Taste the bliss, Prabhu. The bliss balls. Sweet called a bliss ball, isn't it? You make bliss balls for the university? And some of you distributing prasadam at the Wellington University, or whatever it's called. Ladies, maybe, I don't know. You don't distribute prasadam at the university? Do any of you go to the university?
We do, but those who go there at the university now.
Oh, they're at the university now. I thought it was a holiday today.
As far as I know, there's
Waitangi Day is university's open? I guess the students are still hanging around. What will they do? Now, it's a good day because they're just going to be hanging around. There's probably no classes, so they just hang around. Yeah, okay. So your prasad distributors are at the university, as far as you know. Do they do bliss balls?
not anymore.
Not anymore. That means first they did do it at one point in time. Too much bliss. Couldn't take it anymore. Blissed out. Blissed out, as I say. Blissed out. One time Prabhupada said, Srila Prabhupada, I feel so much bliss when I chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, you have no idea what bliss is. Some little reflection is there. Real bliss is not some conditional state. It's eternal. And Rita also means eternal. Something you get from some drug or some movie or some, winning the lottery or something. You're drunk. Whatever. People think they get bliss. It's an eternal, it's a result of our connection with Krishna in loving devotional service. Rasa. Bhakti rasa, not the mundane rasa. Prabhupada talks in the preface a lot about mundane rasa, mundane relationship. Rasa, sometimes described in different ways. A mellow relationship. Taste, sweet taste. You take a fruit. I I mean, well, I knew what a mango tasted like till I was about 23 years old. I'd never heard of them till probably when I was 17 or something. I never heard of mango. Didn't exist in England. At least I never knew of its existence. There were maybe some Indian shops, but we never went there. So we didn't know about mangoes. But mango is often said to be the king of fruits. Not everyone agrees with that. Many people, Prabhupada himself, I think, mentioned that mango is like the king of fruits, so it is a king of fruit. I don't know who the emperor of fruit is. The king of all kings. We have a fruit in Malaysia. It doesn't grow in many places. It's the rarest fruit, I think one of the rarest fruits. I've never seen it anywhere. You can't really buy it because as soon as you pick it, you've got to eat it within about 5 minutes. You just, and you've got to pick it at the right moment. There's like, all the trees around are full of birds waiting for that very moment when it ripens. And they just, devour it. They just call it golden fruit. There's no, I don't know if there's a name for it, there must be. But I would say that's the nicest fruit I've ever tasted. We have it on our farm in Malaysia. At least they did have it. I don't know if they've still got it. I don't think they've got it anymore. But they used to have it. So sometimes we would, be there at the right time just as it's ripening. It's probably the closest material thing I've ever tasted to that fruit. Probably. Mangoes, sweet mangoes. If you go, this is a month, no, it's not the right bit, the month's coming up. If you go to India, many parts of the world, but let's just use India as an example. Let's be in Andhra Pradesh, for instance, in May. Some of you are Telugus, or Telanganus, or whatever you call it now. Are you Telugu or Telangana, or whatever you call it? Right. You're from Visakhapatnam side, or where are you from? If you go there on that coast or somewhere in that area, around May, it's mango season, and the mangoes are just, I don't know if it's every year, but times I've been there, they've just been everywhere. There's like, every other cart, these street carts, piled up with mangoes. I don't know what they do with them. There's just millions of mangoes everywhere. Like 5 rupees a kilo or something like that. Crazy. And they're so soft. You just break a hole in the end, and if you're really into ice, you put an ice cube in your mouth. Suck it through the ice cube. That's it. There's nothing left but seed and the skin. Everything's juice. You just tap it a little bit on both sides and boom, it turns to liquid mango. You can just imagine how, we hear in the Bhagavatam about, rivers of mango juice. Mangoes bigger than elephants fall into the ground and boom, all full of juice. As this age goes on, there'll only be pit, only be seed, no juice. Just seed and some skin and some kind of skinny stuff inside. You're gonna try to get something out of it. But the juice in the mangoes, you don't buy a mango for the skin, do you? Give me the pip, give me the seed. Oh, you might have planted or something. Okay, maybe that works. But otherwise, you don't buy the mangoes. You buy them for the juice, isn't it? The juice is the rasa inside the fruit, which really counts, isn't it? That's the fruit, isn't it? The rasa. And every fruit's like that, oh boy, this has got a horrible taste. It's the rasa, the juice inside it, which is what you're taking in, and you define it good or bad or whatever, bitter, sour, sweet. Often fruits nowadays are not what they used to be in general. So the rasa, the taste, is what you are looking for. Everyone's looking for a taste. Prabhupada describes this, doesn't he? Everyone's looking for a taste. You have to get a taste. So for instance, some people get a taste. How many of you get a taste out of what's the most famous local ale? Ale, do you use that term? Liquor. What's the most famous Wellington liquor? Do they have one? What's that liquor they make in Dunedin? Huh? You don't know? You live there and you don't know what it is? What did you learn when you were in Dunedin? You wasted half your life. Come on, some of you must know very well what the most famous liquor is. What was it?
Spites.
Pardon?
Spites.
Bates?
Spites.
Bates.
Spites.
Huh?
Spakes.
Spates. Spates. That's a good one. Spates. Is it good? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I like Arkles when I was a kid. Is it good? How many of you have tasted Spates? No one's going to put their hand up. Even he's not going to put his hand up. I'm sure he takes his daily Spate. Why do you drink your Spate? Hey mate, why do you drink Spate? It's great. Spate is great, mate. Don't be late for your Spate. What do they get out of drinking Spate? Come on, Parama, you were a man of... you were a gentleman before you joined the Hare Krishna. You must know all about these things. I bet you had a few Spates in your earlier years.
I was never a fan of Spates, Maharaj.
What did you like? Where did you get your taste?
I was a tui.
A what? A pooey? A pooey? What? Tui. I just said tui. A tui. You were a tui. That's a bird, isn't it? A tui. What's tui?
This is a local beer as well.
Oh, okay, tui. That's why nobody answered. Tui facts. Okay. Tui. Why did you drink tui?
A tui or two?
Not even one. A tui or two? Or three, 4 or 5. Why do you drink?
But I liked the tui, Maharaj, because it was a little lager and not a full body brew. It was a bit lighter.
So you prefer the lager?
Yeah.
You're going to have a lesson today on, gentlemanly life. Probably every devotee should be a gentleman, so you should know this. So you liked it. It satisfied you. People are satisfied. They feel satisfaction. It may be a relief. It may be something developed. It may be something which they have. But they feel some pleasure, don't they? They won't spend their money if they don't get a taste out of it. The taste may have various reasons. It may be social pressure. It may be with the intention of impressing somebody to get a job, or getting a date with a girl or a boy or something, whatever it is. Making yourself look like a man. How many tuis can you down? Girl, you're just a sissy. You're drunk after one tui. You're just a dude. You measure like that, isn't it? The more you can drink, the more people think you're a man, right? And you feel good. It's a kind of a rasa, but it's not really a favorable rasa to Krishna, but it's a rasa. Everybody probably said no one could do anything without taste. Well, at least they may try, but ultimately everyone's trying to get the taste. Making money, getting power, being in a position, getting a family, buying a new car. How many of you got Lamborghinis outside? Come on, be honest. Tesla car. Who's got a Tesla? We were in a Tesla the other day. My God. Ooh. What nectar we were experiencing. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I see a Mercedes outside there. Whose is that Mercedes? Huh? Mercedes car, I think. Here? Whose is that car? Who?
Raise your hand, Prabhu.
Omkar. You have a Mercedes? I thought you were a Brahmachari. Well, I'll tell you, when I was a Brahmachari once, I was driving Jaguar SJ6, if you know what that is. The rocket car. That's another story. They gave me it to drive on Sankirtan with. I was in this temple. It wasn't, 1980, something like that. This temple. These are cars we've got there, all these fancy cars. Jaguar SJ6. You could, within about 5 seconds, you're at like 80 miles an hour. Boom, like you're at the next traffic light before the people have left the line. We're going to all these towns in Scotland, you know, shaking cans. Can you give a little donation to help them? I was so embarrassed. I used to park it in the most unseen place. I would change my dress before I got there, in case someone saw me. Such a hypocrite. Terrible. But I must say, I kind of had a bit of a buzz out of driving the car. Yeah, there's a taste out of it, you know, you're sat there. Sports rocket, you know, and everyone's looking at you. All around, everyone's looking at you. They're all looking at the car, right? Then they look at the person inside. Then they look at the girlfriend next to the person inside. It's like a whole trip that's going on. Isn't it? The whole ego trip. We get, you know, pleasure out of satisfying our false egos. But bhakti rasa is when Krishna's pleased. He really gets pleasure when Krishna's pleased. Don't care less if you're pleased. Who cares a damn? Krishna does, but we don't. Krishna's pleased. That's the difference. Material rasa is when I'm pleased. You may have your wife, children, and you may be pleased when they're pleased, but that's just an extension of your own idea of what pleases you. So, no, I'm doing it for my family, but what about everyone else? You're attached to your dog or whatever. That's still your own thing. So rasa, real rasa, bhakti rasa, is not like that. It's that which really brings taste, pleasure to Krishna. He's the object of all this bhakti, rasa, amrita, sindhu. What does sindhu mean? An ocean. In the material world we get a drop, don't we? In the material world, we may see it as an ocean. You have off the coast here nearby is the Pacific Ocean, is that right? It's probably the biggest ocean on which at least we define it like that on the earth. I think it is, isn't it? Biggest ocean, they say. It's a very, very big ocean. Very big ocean. But it's just like a drop, really, in terms of the universe. To speak of the entirety of existence is nothing. It's a drop. It's a drop. So this Sindhu means ocean, but this ocean of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is unlimited. Amrita also. Unlimited ocean. It doesn't have any limits. Every material ocean has a limit. Even if you do get some taste, you've got some good karma for some reason or another, and you're in a good position, you've got a lovely family, you're wealthy, you're well respected, you're healthy, you're knowledgeable, you're handsome, beautiful, you have no legal problems, you have a very good temple president, everything else, you're in a very good position. Even then, how long does it last? Does it have limits or not? How long will your beauty last? And how deep is your beauty? Some of you may be considered beautiful, like me, or learned like me, or famous like me. I don't know if anyone's as famous as I am. Even Rani Kashipu is wondering if he's also getting worried. But even if you are considered in the eyes of other ugly people as being beautiful, how deep is that beauty? How beautiful. Look at some of you probably have, I'm not going too closely, especially to the ladies, but some of you may have beautiful eyes. Isn't it? Or we may think we do, or some people think we do. Okay, I love your eyes. Okay, take it out. Here you go. Take my eye. Here's the eyeball. You say you love my eyes. Here you go. Have them. We'll be aghast. We'll be running for our lives practically. Scared out of our wits. Where's the beauty there? I love you have such soft skin. Okay, I'll take it off. Neither the skin nor what's underneath is going to be very beautiful, is it? You take the skin off the body, is it very? You see these sometimes when you study in bodily anatomy or something, isn't it? You see the kind of what's supposed to be the body without the skin. Is it very beautiful? Well, have you seen that? Have you ever, when you studied at school or college, did you see it? Is it very beautiful? It's terrifying. It's like scary, isn't it? For a dog, it's very beautiful. For a lion or tiger or some carnivore, oh, this is delicious. This is amazing. Big, fat, juicy body. Yummy. Different people will see it differently, of course. But it's not. The rasa is not, in its own extent of the ability, how much rasa you can get out of it is limited. How many gulabs can you eat? Yes, this rasa is also called rasagula. So how many rasagulabs can you take? I mean, sweet nectar or sweet taste. How many rasagulas or gulab jamans can you eat? Come on, who's the record holder here? We have to know that. That's indicative of the most advanced devotee. Come on, now I can't remember all these things. The lounge, whatever it is. Gora Lounge? Bhakti Lounge? Bhakti Lounge. At the Bhakti Lounge, who's the record holder for gulab eating? Come on, I'm sure you have gulab companies. There's a finger of thumb, not even a finger of thumb pointing. What's your name?
Trent.
Pardon?
Trent.
Trent. Trent.
Trent.
Trent. Are you good at eating gulabs?
Not really.
Why are you he's pointing at you? He's trying to defer to the fact that he is the one. What's your name?
Sean.
What is his name? What's your name?
Sean.
John?
Sean.
Sean. Are you from Ireland? Irish background?
No, it's the other Sean. S-H-A-U-N.
H?
S-H-A-U-N.
S-H-A-U-N. Sean.
It's
I
like,
didn't know.
like the English.
In Ireland they say S-E-A-N. Sean. So anyway, let's say that Sean is this champion gulab eater. How many gulabs can you eat, Sean?
I lost count the last time.
Oh, you're Sean. Are you Sean?
Yeah.
Oh, you're the Sean. I thought you were the Sean. No, you're not the Sean. You're the Sean. He lost count, so Sean is really, we've got the right man here. How many gulabs have you got in the kitchen? One only.
Zero.
Oh, no. Spoil sport. But then maybe you can eat. You know who the world record holder is? Is Subbalakshmi here today?
No.
Mother Subbalakshmi? Is she not here? She didn't come. So, the devotee who has the world, and I don't know if it's the world record, but it was the world record. She had the world record gulab jamun eater in one sitting. She was from Melbourne. She ate about 125 Messages, so don't. This is more than equal rights here with the gulab eater. She thrashed all the men. Even Kurma was left in the dust. Left in the gulab juice. Drowned in the juice. He never lost his weight since then. good friend of mine. Wonderful. So yeah, but how many? There's a limit. You can only go so far. And of course, not only a limit in time also. Time is limited. Ability to taste is limited, but spiritually there's no such limit. It's unlimited. Amrita Sindhu is unlimited ocean. So enter into that ocean of the nectar of devotion. But the taste comes. Let's say, for instance, we give you a mango now. Will you feel good? How many of you would like to have a nice sweet mango right now? Yes, not quite sure what's coming next. There's a catch here. But generally speaking, most people like mango, generally. It's my favourite fruit. I don't eat it, but it's my favourite fruit. But most people like mango. But is it enough just to have the mango in your hand? Wow, such a beautiful mango. Soft skin. Lick the skin. What a smell. Let's see if we can hear anything inside. No. If you don't know what it is, you might think it's another kind of tennis ball or something. You have to take the juice down. If here's a mango and I just give you the skin, you'll say this mango is horrible fruit. You want the juice, you want the taste it. The nectar devotion is not just something we study, it's something we're meant to apply in our lives. This is the shilan, applying that. Applying. You won't get the taste, in other words. The famous saying, I think George Harrison, he didn't actually write it, Shamsundar wrote it, but George Harrison agreed to what he wrote. The taste of the pudding is in the eating. You know? The taste of the pudding is in the eating. Last night, the devoted house, Arjuna Priya, Arjuna Priya, I don't know if he's here this morning, he's not, maybe not here, recovering still from last night. Arjuna Priya and his wife, Mati Manjari and her team made apple pie. You like apple pie? I'm apple pie freak. Brought up on apple pies. I hardly ever eat them nowadays, to be honest. Actually, we were brought up on apple pies, so usually what you're brought up on is something you can, not by chance. You're born in a place where parents make apple pie or chips. So she made apple pie and custard, a traditional English dish. I think that's the prime English dish, isn't it? Apple pie and custard, probably. They're not famous for their culinary arts. Apple pie and custard is one thing they're quite well known, right? What was your name again?
Gokulila.
Gokuli?
Lila.
Gokulila. Gokulila. Where in England are you from?
Lancashire.
Lancashire. Whereabouts in Lancashire?
I can't remember. I was on
You can't remember? That's a holy place. Come on. That's a holy dom.
Wigan?
Huh?
Wigan?
Wigan. Yeah, Wigan's really a damn hole. I mean, a holy You've been there again since you were born?
Yes.
You went there again?
Yes.
Almost forgot the name. It really sounds inventive. Wigan. The name speaks for itself. It's better than the town. I come from Pig Hill. It's better than the town I come from. Literally, that's what it was, Pig Hill. But to me, it's a holy place. It's funny, our birthplace still remains sort of like something special. Conditional life. And so, yeah, you made apple pie. But how did I get on to apple pie? Oh, English dish, very traditional. In Lancashire, I don't know what they eat in Lancashire. Do you know they used to have a Bhakti Lounge. I didn't have a Bhakti Lounge, but Dave Rita, I was there when he was there in Manchester. Any of you were there? Some of the older ones were there. Maybe Ramdas or somebody was there. I can't remember. Some of the older devotees in the Goyatra were there. And they were preaching there. They were trying to set up a Bhakti Lounge there. It never manifested. But many devotees still came along and joined from there preaching. Amazing program. Anyway, taste. So I did the taste from apple pie. It's nothing compared to the taste which Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami are giving us. It's just a mundane taste. When it's offered to Krishna, of course, we do that. We may have a rasa, a taste in this world. So the art of devotional service is that which we have a taste for. We try to learn how to offer that to Krishna and eventually selflessly offer that to Krishna. We can become somewhat, freed from the tendency of seeing maliciousness. So somebody's looking at the time, because although we're talking about this Amrita, this eternal time factor, devotional service is eternal, and the taste is eternal, and it's never ending. It's neither time limits it, nor the depth of the taste, or the variety in the taste is ever increasing. It never reduces, it ever increases when we're in the ocean of bhakti. At this stage we may feel the temporary effects or the relative effects of devotion. Some things you like, some things you don't. Time come along, brother, stop. I just saw someone looking at their watch a few minutes ago. I know what that means. I'm not going to look that way. Going like this for the last 30 minutes. Here, look at him since I insulted him 30 minutes. And the gate, the man at the door has disappeared. He moved over there. We already showed him up with his tui. He can't speak up. Okay, well I guess it's time now to enter into the Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu, tasting the nectar which you're always hankering for. Is it? Okay, now we begin the class on nectar of devotion. Preliminary to the preface. Preface. What is this? Hot ginger tea.
It's cold enough.
It's nice. Did you put something? There's something giving it a sparkle. What's that? It's got a bit of punch to it.
Lemon, ginger and honey.
Whoa, sparkly juice. You should market it. It would compete with Tui. State will be left in the dust. Nice. Very nice. Very good one. I don't know. You just give the formula. You can't tell the formula. It's got a very good spike to it. I don't know.
The lemons from his house.
He's got fantastic lemons in his house. Natural, are they organic?
Yes.
I'm so sure of that.
Yes.
He said yes. I say, after you walk off, there's going to be a real argue over the lemons, whether they're organic or inorganic. Ruin your whole day over lemons. Anyway, they taste really good. We have a few of your lemons and they're really, really good. Grow your own lemons. That's what you have to learn from today's class. You get everything else, just learn that one thing. Grow your own lemons. Do you offer tui to Krishna? Krishna says, whatever you do, offer it to me. No? What do you do with it? You can have an apple pie to Krishna. What do you do if you're a TUI drunkard? What do you do if you're a drunkard? What do they do? They get some taste out of it. What do you do if you're a drunkard? How do you offer that? How do you offer your, where you're at to Krishna?
Srila Prabhupada said, thank you for the taste.
There you go, he's got the exact. When 1967 in San Francisco, Jayananda Prabhu asked Prabhupada, Jayananda said, I've got a lot of friends who are drunkards. He used to preach to the drunkards, in the bars in San Francisco. He said, how can I preach to them? Prabhupada said, when they're drinking their liquor, just tell them to say, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for the taste in this liquor. Glug, 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 glug. That's what he said. Beginning of their devotional service. Isn't that amazing? Amazing. And many of them became very favourable. Some maybe become devotees, but sounds like fate. Fate going down. Glug, 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 glug. Okay, it's getting late for fate. Anything else? We'll have a kirtan and then we'll move along. Ah, here we go. Now you're going to see how many Simply Wonderfuls I can eat. Have I got to eat them all?